Welcome back, everybody, to the Chroncast. I am your host, Alex Drickman, editor and head writer at Canucks Chronicles and club reporter at Altitude FC. Joining me, as always, is Kaja Antic from Game Over Vancouver. Kaja, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Let's talk about the good Canucks right now, just to get things going. The Abbotsford Canucks have defeated the Texas Stars in 6 games and will be going to the Calder Conference Finals. What do we think about this?
Absolutely amazing. This team was for part of the season, it was not a good look for this organization. Now the fact that they not only they get past Coachella Valley, who had back to back, I believe, Calder Cup Finals appearances, or have success in the playoffs, without reaching the final, or reaching the Calder Cup itself, because I'm pretty sure Hershey won it. Anyway, um, yeah, they get past Coachella Valley, they get past Colorado, which I didn't think was going to happen, then they do, and then to get past Texas Stars as well. Amazing cinema, love it. Amazing things that Manny Malhotra is doing. Um, Out in Abbotsford, Archer Shelovs is playoff god. Like, we just need him to take Hellebuck's regular season performance, and he is the greatest goaltender of all time. Um, yeah, it was also an electric game as a come from behind win. They were down 2-0, I believe, halfway through the second, and then was it Arshdeep? Yeah, Arshdeep Baines gets the first goal. Jujar Kara gets the second to tie it at 2. That's in the third period. And then Max Sasson gives the Canucks the first lead of the game in the third. And then Baines gets an empty netter in the end to finish 4-2. They defeat Cole Lind and the Texas Stars. I have some thoughts about that, man, but I will hold off. Yeah, stop trying to fight our goalie, who's like a decade younger than you. Just but yeah, a very exciting series. They're playing a new beast in Charlotte, which the Charlotte Checkers, which are the Florida Panthers AHL affiliate. So they're playing against the likes of Jesse Puljujärvi. But I don't know. I hope it'll be a good series. They play games 1 and 2 out in North Carolina. They play game 3, 4, and 5 here because that's how the AHL system works. And then 6 and 7, if needed, back in Charlotte. So, yeah, Charlotte swept the number 1 seed in the Laval Rocket, the Habs affiliate. So, not sure if that bodes well or bad for us, but we will find out. I am just impressed they got past Colorado in the first place, and yeah, it was really funny last night. I think it was Will Lannon who was skating towards the Western Conference winner trophy. I forgot what it's called. The Robert Clark or something like that. And they're skating towards it, and he's turns back and he sees Jet Wu, and he waves him away from the trophy. It was really funny. Abbotsford Canucks, congratulations. I will finish talking now.
Yeah, just with the season they've had and how they've come back from the adversity of the early start of the season and just this run they've gone on in the playoffs, it's no surprise that you're seeing Manny Malhotra's name being attached to so many NHL organizations. Hell, we saw him linked to the Canucks job before Adam Foote got hired as the Canucks head coach. It's impressive what he's managed to put together after that rough start to the season. And what I'm also loving about what I've seen of this Abbotsford run is how you're getting contributions from the guys who you really want to see doing this. You're getting guys like Archer Shelovs, you're getting guys like Linus Karlsson, you're getting guys like Arshdeep Baines, you're getting that goal from Max Sasson, guys who do have some hope of an NHL future, albeit in some cases maybe not particularly high ceiling, but of being an NHL player. They're getting these contributions in the big games. They're making a difference at this level that they can make a difference at. And it just bodes well for an organization that we're not seeing too many positives out of right now. We can look at this Abbotsford team and say, okay, we've got something going here. There's something you can hopefully build off of. There's a way to have something go right in the Canucks organization. For once.
For once, yeah. Yeah, I will say, I don't know. It's a good time in Abbotsford. They seem to be having fun with it. Phil Giuseppe also had a great game. I just want to shout him out. Please re-sign him. Tristan Nielsen, my favorite pest. Guillaume Brisebois, Canucks legend. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's all I have for Abbotsford. Good luck against Charlotte. They still have a bit of time to rest. Game 1 is on, as we're recording this, in like the end of the week. So Friday the 13th is Game 1 in Charlotte. So make sure to check that out. Spook. Jesus Christ. What time does it start at? Let me check here.
Copy, we got it checking.
Division finals. It's at 4 p.m. Okay, cool. I have to be back home at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm like, cool.
And I'm just hoping we have good access to streams for this to make sure as many people as possible are able to watch.
Yeah, they should bring it back. I don't know if it was the AHL or Flow Hockey themselves. They streamed Game 1 of the division finals between Abbotsford and Colorado. They streamed that on YouTube. Hopefully they bring that back because this is the Calder Cup Finals. But yeah, I don't know. It would be cool to see something not behind a paywall for once. Yeah.
Yeah. And moving on to the NHL Canucks. Few pieces of news that dropped last week right after we finished recording. So let's start with
literally like 10 minutes.
Yeah, like it was. I had not yet begun editing the show when these dropped. Let's start with the news about. Let's start with Derek Forbort.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Forbort has re-signed. He will remain a Vancouver Canuck. 1 year, $2 million deal. Kaja, your thoughts on the extension?
Pretty good. I mean, it's still like, I don't know, he's got veteran experience. He wasn't terrible this year on the back end for us. I know I graded him pretty low, but still, I was a bit harsh on that one, I will admit. It's not a big commitment, money-wise or time-wise. It's cool. It's good. And I think with the younger decor that we're bringing in, they're probably going to need someone else to fill a spot, because like I think they're going to go like one in, one off for Mancini and Pettersson, depending. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good depth signing. Not really a lot to complain about, but it was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. No,
it was a bit of a surprise.
It did feel as if he was going to end up walking in free agency, which ultimately wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. Like, I'm a big Forbort fan, but I would have been able to say, okay, he's not the most critical player you have on this team. But I think having him back on that deal, for reasons like you just said, having that veteran presence in the young defense, I think he was a pretty good player, especially our penalty kill. I think he was a very effective penalty killer, and we're probably going to be losing. Obviously, they play different positions, but Pius Suter was very critical to our penalty kill, and I think he's gone. So just trying to maintain as many guys as possible to give the new coaching staff some tools to work with to kill penalties is critical here. But ultimately, I think this is a really good guy to have back. I think you did need to sign a veteran. I think it makes a lot of sense to have a guy where you know what you're getting, you know how he plays, he knows some of the guys in the room. He's probably already got some respect from them being one of the few veterans on that decor. I really like this. I think, again, 1 year, $2 million is, I think, pretty perfect in that if a young guy is needing to go his minutes more than Forbort, you can have him become that seventh defenseman and have him in the press box without it really hurting you whatsoever. Whereas at the same time, if you need that veteran presence for a while, if the young guys aren't, having the best games for a certain stretch, which, will happen with young players here and there sporadically, it's just a fact of life. Having that guy who you know what you're getting, that steady presence at the back end, that's pretty critical. And I do also hope it means that we seek revenge on Yakov Trenin next time we play the Minnesota Wild.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I forgot that happened still. Is he signed still next year?
I forget if he's still with the Wild or not, but wherever he ends up next year. We know Kiefer Sherwood said that they're going to remember what Jason Dickinson did to Philip Hedl.
Oh, God.
So I am hoping they also remember what Yakov Trenin did to Derek Forbort.
NHL rights signed... Puckpedia. Oh yeah, he's only year 2 of 4.
Yeah, okay.
So he's he's with the Wild. Provided they don't trade him. But yeah.
Yeah. But in addition to Forbort, we have more word on what the Canucks coaching staff next year is going to look like. So in addition to Rick Tocchet no longer being the head coach and being replaced by Adam Foote, assistant coach Yogi Svejkovic the guy that was running the special teams, has gone to the Philadelphia Flyers to join Rick Tocchet. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce his last name. I still haven't learned how to say it. Yogi. But we have 3 new assistant coaches in Vancouver. So we have, joining the Canucks, Brett McLean. Believe he was the former head coach of the Iowa Wild. Kevin Dean, who was a former assistant coach in Chicago and Boston. And Scott Young, who we believe, we checked this earlier, was promoted from director of player personnel, was it?
Yeah, so McLean, he's doing the power play. We also lost Sergei Gonchar. So another defensive thing, but we have like our former defensive guy on the head coach, so I think we got that covered. But yeah, Brett McLean, power play. He was an assistant coach for 3 years in Iowa, was then an assistant coach for 3 years with Minnesota, and then back to Iowa as head coach for 2 seasons. Kevin Dean was with the Lowell Devils of the AHL as an assistant coach, was a head coach of the Trenton Devils in the ECHL for a season, assistant coach with Providence for a number of years, and then head coach for a season, and then was an assistant coach with the Bruins for 5 years, and then Chicago for 3, was also an assistant coach for the USA Men's World Championship winning team this year. And Scott Young has his last coaching experience was with as an assistant coach with Boston University in the NCAA, but also has on the international level some history of coaching as well, or some history of coaching, assistant coaching. He was last a head coach with the U.S. High School Prep League. But yeah, he was former director of player development for the Pittsburgh Penguins, shocker, and then the director of player personnel for the last 3 seasons for the Vancouver Canucks. That was a lot of information. But yeah, cool. New guys, I guess. That's fun.
So I don't know too much about any of them right now, but I have heard a little bit about. So with McLean, I know we were originally talking to some former head coaches about potentially coming in assistant coaches. 2 of the names I heard mentioned being David Quinn and Joe Sacco, who both ended up taking assistant coaching job with the Rangers. However, we apparently Adam Foote got a call from former Wild head coach Dean Evison, giving a really strong endorsement to McLean as a guy who he would recommend as an assistant coach. I'm a big Dean Evison fan. I think he's a very good coach. So getting that endorsement from him gives me some optimism that this is a guy who knows what he's doing. If Evison trusts him, I think there's no reason not to trust him. Kevin Dean, I know, is pretty highly rated by a lot of his former defensemen. Derek Forbort used to play for him and is said to be a really big fan of him. And I think just giving him... I love the work Adam Foote and Sergei Gonchar, who I forgot to mention has also left the organization. The work they were doing with a lot of our defensemen, I was a huge fan of. So with Gonchar gone, having a guy like Dean to work with Foote, I think should do well for a defenseman. Scott Young, I don't really know what he does. I'm not familiar. That's not to say that's a bad thing either. That's just not to say I don't know what he does. I gotta do some more research into this guy, but no reason to doubt him yet. Yeah.
Yeah, he's he's just kind of there. We don't really know what he's going to be doing yet, right?
There was a quote from Adam Foote that basically said his job is going to be like kind of special projects, working a lot with the Sedins and our skills coach. So his might more be like, okay, we want to get this player working on this thing. Like, let's say this player's not finishing well or something. Let's get Scott Young trying to focus on that. That's my assumption, at least. Just kind of as like extra support wherever he's needed.
Yeah, like the Pia Suter of the coaching staff. Coach Suter. That's how we keep him. Anyway, we need a video coach.
Oh yeah, we also don't have one of those. Our video coach also left.
Yeah, I don't know. Who do we bring in as a video coach?
I don't really know any video coaches, so yeah.
Yeah,
probably someone who used to work for the Penguins.
Probably, Sidney Crosby. No, I look at screens a lot. I could be a video coach. Anyway, that's about all we know for the new coaches. Yeah. not a lot of other new thing except for potentially a new forward.
It is possible. So, let's talk about Marco Rossi a little bit here. His name's been in the rumor mill for a while, but we had the Athletics' Michael Russo specifically mention the Canucks as a team who are interested in bringing in the Minnesota Wild forwards. So it seems like after the playoffs, Rossi got kind of buried in the depth chart during the postseason. The Wild seem to doubt that he's going to be able to step up in the playoffs, which, by the way, he scored 3 points in his 6 playoff games. Not bad production for someone in their first ever postseason playoff performances, but I digress. After that, they've been trying to extend him. He does not seem to be interested in re-signing in Minnesota after this, therefore leading to a potential trade. We've also heard that his size is scaring off several potential teams, and so that Marco Rossi may be available for a fairly reasonable price. What would you be comfortable giving up for the Canucks to bring in a 23-year-old centerman who put up a 60-point season?
That's why I'm scared of it. Because I don't really know. He had 120 points in his last season in the O. Oh, sorry. In the 2019-20 season, he played for the Ottawa 67s. In 56 games, he had 120 points. That's insane. That's actually wild. I don't know what we would give up, because we still have our first from this year. It would probably be a first and a player.
I would imagine. So let's say it's a first and Niels Höglander.
I'd do that. I like Hogs, but I feel like there are other markets that would utilize him better, and especially with a lot of younger wingers that we have, I feel like for the betterment of him as well.
Yeah. No, I think you don't often see a 23-year-old center who has put up a 60-point season and can be such a critical playmaker and has played, I believe, back-to-back seasons, played 82 games in each of them. He's got the durability. This is a guy who is not often available. Am I a little bit concerned about the lack of size? Yes, because between him and Elias Pettersson as your top two centers, you would obviously like to have some more size at that position. And in general, I feel like we got pushed around a lot last year and need a little bit more size, a little bit more grit. And now that creates a problem where your wingers now you have a more specific need. With that being said, he's a 23-year-old center who has done all of this. That's not a player you're going to often have a chance to get. If it means you have to work a little harder to find the right choices at winger, especially with the price Rossi's expected to go for, I think you got to do it. Yes.
Okay. I just have a thought. So, Marc-Andre Fleury is likely retiring, correct? Minnesota needs a goalie.
Philip Gustafsson.
They have Philip Gustafsson, but they need two goalies, right?
Yeah, they're not going to want him.
Thatcher Demko.
They're not going to want him.
A first Höglander and Thatcher Demko. I would make that trade in a heartbeat.
I would, but I don't know how interested the Wild would be in him.
Well,
because they already have a starter.
Who's their manager? Bill Guerin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we all heard what he said during Four Nations. It's not like he thinks a lot of things through. I think that, yeah, Bill Guerin, you want Thatcher Demko so bad. You want him so bad.
I get that, but that feels like the one position where they don't need anything just because you have Philip Gustafsson.
Yeah, but who's on their depth chart?
They also have. Do they have Wallstedt in the organization too?
Who's that?
Very highly rated young goalie prospect.
Okay, well,
considered by some the best goalie not in the NHL right now.
Give me a second. Okay, I searched Wallstedt, and the first thing that comes up is a place in Haywards Heath, UK. Jesper Wallstedt. Why is he? Yeah. Oh God, he's a month older than me. Oh. So in his career, he has 5 games that he's played. 5 games played, 3.44 goals against average, 877 save percentage. Yeah. His 2 games this year, 409 and 843. So he's still not exactly there yet.
No, but not there yet and need to go acquire Thatcher Demko are two different things.
He had an 879 in Iowa last year.
Yeah. He's a goalie. They develop slowly.
Yeah, I know, but if you have Thatcher Demko, he's only signed for one more year. Yeah, but signed for only one more year. They could have a tandem. This makes no sense. Let me try and make it make sense. They have their starter in Philip Gustafsson, they could have two great goalies in a tandem. We're getting rid of Thatcher Demko regardless.
Probably.
Like, it's just another chip. We could probably get a pick out of him. Like,
okay, can I make a counterpoint? I agree we're getting rid of Thatcher Demko anyway.
mm-hmm.
We also need more than just one forward. Separate deal, go get a winger for him.
Okay.
From someone who actually needs a goalie.
Who needs a goalie?
Edmonton.
Apparently not, if you tell
Stuart
Stuart Skinner that
came to mind.
San Jose?
Askarov.
You need two goalies.
Hold on, I'm pulling up
I was just thinking, who has Georgiev?
San Jose.
Yeah.
I saw Georgiev
who's
play.
in Chicago right now?
They have Brossoit, but he was hurt, and Spencer Knight.
Okay. Needs a goalie. Seattle.
Grubauer is terrible.
Yeah.
And Decor's
Washington.
good, but
don't try and tell me Kemper and Lindgren are good goalies.
I mean, they gotta put up good numbers. Also, sorry, wait, did you say Kemper and Lindgren?
Kemper and Lindgren, yeah.
Kemper's in LA.
Kemper's in LA?
Yeah, it's Logan Thompson. And Logan Thompson is a good goalie.
Kemper was many years ago.
1 year ago. That was the PLD trade.
Okay, but like, sorry, it's Darcy Kemper, not Cam Talbot? I thought it was Cam Talbot.
Talbot's in Detroit. Talbot's
in Detroit? I've been saying the tandem wrong the entire year.
Speaking of Detroit, by the way.
Oh god.
Cam Talbot.
Oh, right,
There we go, back on topic.
Buffalo, no.
Yeah, probably not. They have two young guys.
Boston,
Philly?
Probably not. Philly, probably not. I think they're pretty good. Pittsburgh.
Makes a lot of sense. Islanders, hell no. It's like the one position where they're good. Rangers, no.
Blue Jackets. Yeah.
Merzlikins, and I genuinely forget who their backup is.
It's not Corpusalo, because he's not, no.
I wonder about Montreal.
Ottawa, no. Toronto, no. Montreal, I think Montreal's good.
They're probably not, like, desperate for one, but, like, you could, like, between Montembeault and Dobej, you have two guys who are good. But...
yeah, they're also young.
Yeah.
Dobej is
young, yeah.
Winnipeg.
Only in the
playoffs, Calgary, no.
Calgary would hurt me too much just to watch us lose both Markstrom and Demko to them.
Yeah. But also, I'm like, Dustin Wolf, he's pretty good, so...
Dallas, if they're forced to trade Ottinger.
Oh, yeah, I think they did fire DeBoer, though.
They have fired DeBoer, so they're...
okay.
They're gonna end up with Manny Malhotra instead.
Honestly, that would make me so mad that we have Adam Foote when we could have had Manny Malhotra, and that's all I'm gonna say. What NHL teams are there? Nashville, no.
No, I got
Vegas,
a list in front of me.
Probably not.
Doubt it. LA. Kemper had a really good year.
Yeah. Anaheim, they still have Gibson, don't they?
They have Dushdell too.
God, right. Utah.
They like Vemelka.
Why?
I don't know.
St. Louis, no.
Parada?
Yeah.
I mean, they have Blackwood, but
no, they're good.
There's a few options here, though.
Carolina, no.
I could see Chicago being an option with Spencer Knight, depending on how much they believe in him.
Yeah. But, like, do we want anybody from the Chicago Blackhawks? Aside from Bedard? It's like, we're not getting him, bro.
We're not getting...
Imagine,
they have a good prospect pool, so, like, because they've been terrible forever.
Imagine in 2 weeks, we just hear, the trade is 1-for-1. Thatcher Demko for Connor Bedard. Honestly, I would love it. That would be great.
I would love it, and I think I deserve it.
Exactly. But because we think we deserve it,
get it.
The league hates us, yes. So it's not going to happen. They're going to find some weird clause that doesn't actually exist, but they're going to pretend it exists. So that Anderson. Kochetkov.
Exactly.
They're good. Wait.
They're not good.
They're good.
Kochetkov is not good.
They're not going to get rid of him, though.
He's entertaining, but good he is not.
Okay, well, yeah.
And Anderson,
you can say that about Luongo. That's a joke, that's a joke, that's a joke. That's a joke, that's a joke, that's a joke. Roberto Luongo was my favorite player growing up, okay?
Mine too. That's why I'm offended.
Yeah, whatever.
This show's already off the
Um,
rails.
yeah. Hey, be glad I didn't wear my Leaf sweater. I almost did. Um, what else? There's other NHL teams,
Yeah,
I
there's
think.
we've still listed a good few options here. You don't need 25 teams interested to make a trade. If you have 5 or 6 teams interested,
Yeah,
that's
true.
good enough, and we found that.
Yeah, so Patrick hit us up.
Yep. Jim, come on the show. We know you'll talk.
I think we did go through all the teams. I mean,
I believe
aside
so.
from the obvious ones, like Tampa's never getting rid of Vasilevsky.
Yeah, and why would they?
I know. Seattle. Yeah, no, we went through all of them. But yeah, I think Demko's gone. I like your thing of the winger, but
yeah, or even if you were to acquire Rossi and use him as a winger and get another center or something, but basically, this team needs at least 2 or 3 more forwards than we have right now. So Marco Rossi is a great start to adding to it, and I would be very happy to trade for him, especially if the price is what it's allegedly going to be close to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not, you can't say, all right, we got Marco Rossi, we're done. You still need to go out and add guys. So a guy like Demko, either flipping him for assets to acquire another forward, another winger or something, would be a good way to do that, I think. So if you were to part with, again, let's say it's our first round pick this year, not next year. I'm going to add that too, crucially, because the 2026 draft is loaded.
It's so good. It's so good.
But if you could do the 15th pick this year, and maybe it's Höglander, maybe it's someone else kind of that caliber. I don't know who exactly it would be. I think you can do that.
Carlson?
Yeah, I would. I don't know that he wouldn't hold the value that Höglander does, so you'd maybe have to
fair.
throw something else in too. But
Come on and Archdeep Baines.
But yeah, we'll see what happens here. If Rossi ends up going to another team too, it's not like that was our only option.
Yeah.
But he is a pretty enticing one if you can get him.
Yes. Yeah, the world will not end if we don't get Marco Rossi.
Yeah. Should we move past Marco Rossi now and talk about something else?
Oh my god, I just poked myself in the eye. The finals! Oh god.
So game...
I'm fine.
Technical difficulties.
Blinded myself more. Yeah, Stanley Cup Final.
Game 3 goes tonight, I believe, at time of recording, from Sunrise, Florida. Series currently at 1-1, following 2 really good games that I couldn't watch because I was at work. Listen, I don't like that this is the series. I like that this is the hockey being played.
It's entertaining. It is entertaining. You know who's doing the pre-game concert?
Who is doing the pre-game concert?
DJ Khaled.
Let's go golfing.
Yeah, that's it's a choice. But then again, we had Baby No Money out in one of the intermissions on skates going around Rogers Arena, so I can't really say that. But hey, at least he actually makes music. Yeah. Sorry, that was not Baby No Money slander. Love that man. Great dude.
The Chroncast is pro Baby No Money.
Yes, exactly. If you're listening. No, yeah, so game 1 was quite entertaining. Yeah. Game 1, Leon Draisaitl wins it. Game 2, Connor McDavid, you're insane. But also Brad Marchand wins it. So, I don't know. It's a cool matchup. I mean, it's not a cool matchup, but it's good to see. No, it's not good to see. What am I trying to say? It's entertaining.
The hockey is good.
The hockey is good. The hockey is hockeying.
Once the game is being played, if you can shut out the fact that it's the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers, it's very entertaining to watch.
Yes, yeah.
And it's the kind of series where if you were attracting new fans who don't necessarily know the lore of hockey and don't necessarily have that hate built up for teams, this is a series that could make some new fans.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I'm just really excited that it's exciting. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not NBA Finals exciting because what the hell are the Indiana Pacers doing right now? But I don't know basketball, but I know that because of memes and also wrestling. Yeah, I don't have a lot else to say. The Oilers, right? They did something with the ice. They took ice from a bunch of the players' hometown rinks, which I thought was a nice touch. But they included Ryan Nugent-Hopkins from Burnaby and Evander Kane from Vancouver, and I want to know which rinks they chose. Because, like,
Burnaby
we have a
Winter
lot
Club,
of ice rinks.
I'm guessing Burnaby Winter Club for Nugent-Hopkins, just because I know that's where he
Yeah.
played. Kane is interesting.
Like, yeah.
Every time I remember he's from Vancouver, I get sad.
I saw him play junior here.
I'm so sorry.
That's where I was 5. That's where the Burnaby Winter Club is?
Yeah, in Burnaby.
Well, yeah. Thanks, Alex. I had a really hard time figuring that out. But no, because I was like, oh, there's the RCMP detachment. I know where this is. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. I was gonna say, is it 8 rinks? But no, that's up the street.
Nearby it.
There's 3. Okay, there's Burnaby Winter Club, and then down Kensington Avenue is Scotia Barn /8 rinks, and then across the street from that is the Bill Copeland Sports Center, which is where, I think the Coquitlam no, I don't know if no Coquitlam doesn't play there, but that's where SFU's hockey team plays. That's what I know, but yeah, it's all in the same like little area there. That's cool. Anyway, I'm actually gonna look up now where Evander Elite Prospects.
So game 3 tonight. Series is back in Florida.
You know what it was?
What was it?
North Shore Winter Club. Where is this?
Kind of near Cap. Cap U.
No, it really ain't.
Yeah, it's pretty near. I drive past it on my drive to Cap.
Okay, well, that's a you problem. I don't know. Okay. I mean, technically, I've probably driven past it, but since all your highway is covered in freaking trees,
You say that like trees are a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. I wish my highway is trees instead of it's all construction equipment. North Shore Winter Club. I like how the North Shore Winter Club picture on Google Maps is a pool, an outdoor pool.
Yeah, Winter Club is an interesting name for some of the stuff they have.
Okay.
I've only been like twice,
Cool.
by the way, too, and they were both in elementary school. We had field trips there to go curling.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
We never had a curling field trip, so that's.
I'm confused why we did.
We did it in Girl Guides once.
Oh, yeah.
But that's because there was a curling place in where I had Girl Guides. So yeah.
That would do it.
But yeah, North Shore Winter Club. I was thinking, what ice rinks are there? Because like the only rinks that were coming to mind for me are rinks that A, other teams play on, which no, or B, don't really exist anymore. First one I thought of, Denman Arena. That burned down in 1936.
I remember it well.
Yeah. God. What else? I don't know. I was gonna say the Coliseum, maybe because he played junior there, but they probably haven't put the ice in already. Even though there's gonna be hockey there soon. Segue! Thank you!
What a
Thank
segue.
you! Thank you.
We got
PWHL Vancouver! They have 5 players signed, and they have a better team than the Canucks. Am I wrong?
No point did I say you were wrong, and I think one of these players in particular we need to shout out, because I believe you not necessarily called that the signing would happen, but said that you wanted it to happen months ago. So we'll start with the latest of the signings that they made.
Yeah, Jennifer Gardner, forward from Surrey, BC. So, shout out Surrey. She had an amazing season with the Montreal Victoire. It was amazing to see her get to play, and also 10 points in 7 games during the World Championships this year. In her first World Championships, she hasn't played for Team Canada since the U18 tournament back in 2018-19. So I don't know. It's really good to see. We have a local player signed. I'm super excited that we have such a standout rookie for the Victoire. That was for the Victoire this past year. but now she's coming home to PWHL Vancouver. So that's great to see. But they've also made a lot of other signings. They have Claire Thompson and Sophie. Is it Jack or Jakes? Or Jacques?
I was going with Jacques, but I
Jacques.
could be wrong.
That's the thing. I'm not 100%. I think it's Jake's. Oh, I feel so dumb.
We're going to roll with Jake's. Apologies if we are saying your name wrong.
I'm like, I should know this. I'm like, but yeah, we stole the first D pairing from Minnesota, the championship winning Minnesota Frost. Yeah, that team exists. And we also have Sarah Nurse, who was one of the first players signed ever to PWHL Toronto, was one of the first players ever signed to PWHL Vancouver, who she's one of, like, I'd say the most recognizable women's hockey players, especially in Canada. Like, cover of, was it NHL 24 or 23?
Yeah, but that year
One of those games had her. Okay, one of those games had her and Zegras on it. I just remember that.
NHL 23.
23. There we go. But yeah, I was shocked. But you know what? It's cool to see. I'm really excited to get Sarah Nurse here. And I can't wait to spend the next. I think she signed for 1 year here. I can't wait to spend the next year explaining to people that no, Darnell Nurse is actually her cousin. Anyway.
Kia Nurse is his sister.
Kia Nurse is his sister. Yes.
She
but yeah, I remember
PWHL Vancouver.
She will not know. No. But no, because I remember even at the PWHL Takeover Tour that was at Rogers Arena, which sold out Rogers Arena more than the Canucks did last season, to my knowledge. I remember there were people behind us saying, "Oh, it's Darnell Nurse's sister," and I literally turned around and told them, "No, they're cousins." Like, yeah, I was that annoying person. Anyway, and then between the pipes, we have Emmerin Mashmeyer, who was most recently the starter mostly for the Ottawa Charge. Didn't play much of the finals because they had Phillips in net, and she was amazing, also a rookie. But yeah, I mean, the goaltending talent is vast in the PWHL because there's so limited, because it's the most limited position, right? And there's so limited amount of elite goal. So many elite goaltenders, but not enough spots because there's only 6 teams, so max
you got
12
goalies in the league.
12 goalies in the league, plus like they have some third stringers like CJ in Toronto and stuff. But I'm excited. I'm excited for PWHL Vancouver. I'm excited for hockey to be back at the Pacific Coliseum where it belongs. And yeah, I can't wait for them to break all the Canucks attendance records. But that's, yeah, and I'm excited. I want to see a jersey. Give me a jersey.
And a name.
And a name. I mean, I don't know if they're going to go with a name.
They might not have a name for year 1.
Yeah. I like the color scheme already. PWHL Seattle also made a bunch of signings too. Most notably Hillary Knight, who's American women's hockey legend, but also a bit, yeah, so they have, well, this is not a good quality graphic. I have to go onto Facebook for this because that's what came up. Okay, Seattle, Hillary Knight, forward from Boston. She was a captain over in Boston for the Boston Fleet. Then Daniel Serdachny from Ottawa. Kayla Barnes, who's a really good defender for the Montreal Victoire. And then Alex Carpenter from the New York Sirens, as well as Corrine Schroeder from the New York Sirens as well. So they saw us taking a lot of the Frost and decided to take a bunch of the Sirens instead. But yeah, it's going to be a good rivalry. I can't wait for these two teams to be playing against each other. When is the draft? I forgot. I think it's this week. PWHL expansion draft. And then they also Is it tonight? It's tonight. It's tonight at 5:30 p.m.
All right.
Okay.
So at 5:30 p.m. we will have more players, meaning for the second week in a row there will be big news right after we finish recording.
Yeah, it will be on YouTube. So
stay tuned for next week for their PWHL Vancouver roster analysis, I guess.
Yeah, the New York Times has like a sports version of Connections. That's gonna be my thing after. But
I want to play that now, but that's
yeah. Should we do that now? No.
Live on air.
Okay, sports teams in Atlanta. So there's Brave, Thrasher, Falcon, Hawk. Submit.
Okay, we can't play Connections on air.
Oh, okay.
We can't spoil it for the other people.
Oh, right, yeah. So
I gotta cut that. I'm sorry.
Oh, but I was so proud of myself.
No, you did well, but anyway, okay, we're back. Yeah, anything else you want to talk about in the PWHL, or should we move to our final
hockey topic?
Do you want to take the lead on this one?
Yes. So the NHL scouting combine for prospects coming up this year was just this past week. And there are a number of teams that have some interesting questions that they pose to their prospective players. Well, the Canucks didn't have any because they didn't go. They just decided to not go. But according to Taylor Haas, said Montreal was asking a bunch of players. They're asking players if they were stranded in a desert with someone with only a bottle of water and a baseball bat, and you can't share the water, and the other person takes the water first. What do you do with the bat? Interesting question. Caleb Desnoyers said he'd hit a home run. No idea if that's a good answer or not. The other usual question is what animal they'd be. Jackson Smith said a mix between a mammoth and a goldfish, which is just amazing.
Hell yeah.
Then Mark Scheig said multiple prospects confirmed that they played a game during an interview. They're presented with a 10 by 10 board of numbers, randomly placed 1 to 100. They were asked to find 3 different numbers on that random board as quickly as possible. That was from the New York Rangers. Who knows? Yeah. And then prospect Kashawn Aitchison on if you had any unique questions. It's from Brooks Bratton. I had to try and balance golf balls on top of each other. That was Nashville. Do I know why any of these existed? No, but we decided to make some of our own because this is like a trend of like unhinged questions. Alex, do you want to go first?
Sure, so I just gotta pull this up. Hold on.
Okay.
2 trains are driving towards each other. The first train leaves town A at 5 a.m. traveling at 60 miles an hour. The second train leaves town B at 7 a.m. traveling at 70 miles per hour. The exact distance between towns A and B is 455 miles. What is the exact time the collision will occur? And you cannot use the calculator.
I processed about 1% of what you said.
I was speaking quite fast as well.
You were. I'm gonna need... Okay, but that's gonna bug me now, so please send me that question so I can figure it out later.
Sounds good. I will keep the page open.
Okay, cool. My first question I wrote
I
because
also
of
don't
this...
know the answer to the question.
Okay.
I don't do math. I'm a communication student for a reason.
Damn, imagine being a communication student that takes a physics class for fun. Wasn't a good idea. I mean, it was a good idea at the time.
We'll
anyway.
Later.
Yes. It was astronomy. I'm not smart. But yeah, so this is inspired by a meme that I keep saying, which is like, ask people on the first date what their favorite Pokemon is because some of their answers are just so, like, no. But so yeah, favorite Pokemon. My second question, which one of the friends in the sitcom Friends are you? I feel like that's a good, like, psychoanalysis kind of topic. I don't. I never actually liked Friends, so it's boring. Anyway, what was your other question?
3, but one of ours was kind of established as basically the same question, so can I ask that one?
Yeah.
I have a slight variation on it.
I scratched it off.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
A trolley is traveling down a tracks, and you control a lever that can stop the trolley. There is no emergency, in fact, however. Do you drone strike the trolley to protect American interests?
I was wondering what the variation was. Because you said it was like, oh yeah, because I wrote down the trolley problem and I scratched it out. Because Alex was like, oh, I had that one. I was like, okay, cool, I'll take that out. Jesus Christ. You know who asked that? Bill Guerin of the Minnesota Wild. And Marco Rossi said no, so that's why he's on his way out. Anyway, my next one's dumb. Where do you land first in Fortnite? So that's also another psychoanalysis question.
I never played Fortnite. This is a conversation for later.
You've never played
I've
Fortnite?
never played Fortnite.
Okay. Wow. That's gonna take a bit of time to process. Wow. And then, what is your starter in Wordle? Kind of related to. Sorry? Brain?
Crane.
Okay, because I was just like, that's not what you said.
C-R-A-N-E.
I was like, that's not what you said. My starter is aisle. Like store aisle. I don't know. Anyway, what was your other question?
Is the ocean soup?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
You can do that one too, but my logic for the ocean is it contains seasoning, salt, protein, fish, and vegetation, and it was at one point boiling. We've just let it get cold.
Okay, so then what's the plastic, like, garbage islands? Because you don't put that's the microplastics. There's a fly in the soup.
I didn't say it was good soup.
Fire. That and that one story of that guy going... Actually, I'm going to stop talking so you don't have to cut much out. So, is the ocean soup? That's a question. I have two more. One is, did you feel remorse during the Barbie movie? Which, I don't know. Another quick psychoanalysis. And then my last one. Would you rather have unlimited bacon and no games? Or games, unlimited games, but no games?
What?
Would you rather have unlimited bacon and no games? Or games, unlimited games, but no games?
What reference am I not getting?
Just nothing. Would you rather have unlimited bacon and no games, or games, unlimited games, but no games?
What? Do you smell burning toast?
Let's talk about another thing that doesn't make sense, and it's the Whitecaps win yesterday, because oh my god. Segway!
To headphone users, I can only apologize. Vancouver Whitecaps FC 2. Or should I say Vancouver Whitecaps FC 3?
What did I call it yesterday? FC 5?
Turns out it was Whitecaps FC 3, Seattle 0.
Yeah.
In what I can only describe as the weirdest soccer game I have ever attended. So, for those unaware, the Whitecaps had, I believe it was, 18 players on the injury report going into the game. 1 injured, 9 on international duty, 7 listed as questionable due to a case of, I'm not even going to censor it, the shits. Acquired in Mexico.
It was norovirus.
The neuro shits.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wrote out the amount of players that we had. We had those outside of my father. Outside of everyone who was injured on international duty or sick, we had 7 players total. We had 2 goalkeepers. So Zendejas, you're going on the wing. We had 2 defenders, 1 midfield, and 2 forwards. That was it.
Seattle Sounders, I should also mention, going into this game, we're 4th or 5th in the Western Conference and are historically our biggest rival and have mildly owned us, let's be honest. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, didn't we lose 3-0 last year at home to them?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's put into perspective the Seattle Sounders. Last year, we went down to watch the Whitecaps play the Sounders. We drew the game 1-1 because of a 95th minute penalty that Ryan Gauld scored. And we celebrated that like we won the World Cup.
And that was our second game in Seattle that season. The first game in Seattle we won, and that was the first time we had won in Seattle since Barack Obama was president.
Oh, okay, forgot about that. That's bad.
It's bad. However,
I read a fan fiction that was based on that game. For Seattle. Not based on... That was a weird thing that... It was Ted Lasso. I'm digging a bigger hole here.
let's move past this.
But yeah, they beat Seattle 3-0, which I'm going to take some credit for, because I did not go to the game. I was watching Portland St. Louis, and I fell asleep. And I woke up, and I was like, oh shoot, we're half an hour into the game already. I should turn it on. I turn on the game, and like a few minutes later, Jeevan Badwal scores. So thank you to Surrey, BC for producing some goal scores, because not only did we blank Seattle yesterday, we also made it to the Calder Cup Finals. So
no,
yeah,
we came out of the gate in this game just playing, basically just park the bus, just trying to slow Seattle down. After a while,
look at the goddamn bus.
We were on the front foot after a little while. I think just from, it might have just been shock that Seattle were like not completely running over a team of 7 healthy players and a bunch of guys who were on the verge of, Badwal scores his 1 goal, which was fantastic to see for him. Great to see a local product get his first goal in front of his home crowd too, and in front of the supporter section.
Yeah. Right.
So that's got to be awesome for him. Congrats to him and his family. We get it to halftime. Seattle comes out swinging a little bit in the second half. Tristan Blackman artillery strikes proceed to take 2 Seattle players off the field due to red cards. Both of whom I was in the supporter section, as I usually am. I can have a little fun with this. So the first player sent off was Nuhu, who on his way off was like doing this with the Seattle badge and everything while losing.
But only by 1-0.
Still losing.
Yeah.
And John Bell was the second one who was sent off, and he started yelling at a child on his way off the pitch.
He also like hit a camera, right?
He hit something. I didn't fully see what. But he was like,
I didn't see
fully like pointing and shouting at a child.
Okay.
And then the goal that makes it 2-0 is not a goal where we like come up with this play or anything that takes advantage of the fact that Seattle's down 2 men. It's just Daniel Rios has a little bit of space and goes, why not? Scores.
Can't score a penalty. Let us remind everybody. Cannot score a pen to save his life.
But puts in this absolute banger. One of the best goals I've seen insane. At BC Place.
Yeah.
And then Damir Krylak puts in a pen to ice the game late. By this point, there was Poznan going on in the supporter section.
There was what?
Are you not familiar with the Poznan?
Poznan?
It's where you like are jumping up and down facing away from the field. It's basically a sign of we don't even need to watch this anymore. We just know you're getting hammered.
That was the name for that.
Oh yeah, it's called the Poznan. Anyway, we were doing that during the game.
You know. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because the ref just blew the whistle.
I do have a bit of a gripe with this because they announced in the stadium that there was going to be a minimum of 6 minutes of added time. And we had subs ready to come on, which was going to be, I think, 3 guys making their MLS debut. Because none of the WFC2 players actually saw the field. The only subs we made were Bjorn Inge Udvik for Bilal Habouni and Jeevan Badwal coming off for Damir Krylak. Both of whom are, regular squad players, or squad players at least, for the Whitecaps. So we didn't get any of the debuts from 3 guys who would have otherwise had a chance to play. So, a little annoyed they didn't get their chance, but that's life. Also, I can add this little bit of insight from the supporter section. I'm not sure about Utvik, but when Badwal came off, he was holding his stomach, and he was one of the players who was listed as questionable pre-game. So
Flu game Jeevan Badwal. Yeah, I don't know. It was great to see. We basically, Cascadia Cup. Hell yeah,
more or less locked up at this point, barring an incredible collapse.
The top vote getters for the MLS All-Star Game also just got released 2 hours ago, but I just saw the post. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 Whitecaps listed in their categories. 2 are leading their category. Guess who?
Brian White?
No, because he's a forward, and you know who's number.
That's true. Kubas?
Yeah.
Blackman?
Kubas is not listed. Blackman is number 1 for center backs.
Let's go. Vitae?
No,
It can't be gold.
it's not gold.
I feel like I'm forgetting something really obvious here. Yohei?
Yohei is number 5 for goalkeepers. Number 1 is Dane St. Clair. So that's good,
Who is
at
it?
least. Sebastian Berhalter is number 1 for defensive mids. Let's go. He's above Busquets. He's above Busquets. Barca boys ain't got nothing on us.
Can I also add something about Tristan Blackman? He liked to comment under one of his Instagram posts that said, please play for Canada.
Let's
There have been
go!
rumors linking him to the Canadian national team. I think he's been hinting at it a little bit.
How does that work, though?
He can apply for Canadian citizenship soon.
Okay.
And he's not capped by
And then
the
he
US
could just...
yet. If he gets citizenship,
Yeah.
it can kind of be fast-tracked, and then he would be eligible to play. And, like, he would play.
Yes.
Versus, I actually don't know why the US haven't called him up yet, but...
Because they're dumb.
I don't even know if he's interested anymore, because I think he might feel disrespected or something, and that Canada actually want him, which... Tristan, make the right choice, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we almost had Ryan Gold. But then Scotland was like, let's get him back.
And then
so let's not make the same mistake twice. And then never, well, because has no ACL.
Yeah, and?
Allegedly.
I'm a Scotland fan.
and
The rest of gold on one ACL is probably better than most of our players on two.
Did they not? They were up 2-0 earlier today.
Against Liechtenstein.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. I just read Scotland and I turned off match notifications because I was like, God's not playing. Yeah, Liechtenstein. Which one's the country in UEFA that doesn't have a football league? Is it Liechtenstein or Luxembourg?
Liechtenstein. They have one team and they play in Switzerland.
Like Monaco, but
like
Monaco counts for some reason. Because, anyway. Yohei Takaoka 5th for goalkeepers, and then Brian White is 3rd. Between Ty Baribeau and the other guy.
I don't remember the last time we had a player actually play in the All-Star game.
Yeah, because we had Gauld voted in a couple of years ago, but then he got injured, right?
Yeah, Gauld has made it All-Star game, but he didn't play.
Yeah.
We're going to see Whitecaps play in an All-Star game. What?
Against Liga MX teams.
What? Oh, God. What world do we live in where this is... Yeah.
Wait, there are more Whitecaps listed in these... in these 30 players, there are more Whitecaps... Wait, no. 35 players. There are more Whitecaps listed than Miami players. Only Alba, Messi, and Busquets are listed. We are massive! Let's go! Sebastian Berhalter. Get that man to the All-Star game. And I'll actually watch it. Actually, it's on the One Direction anniversary, so I don't know. July 23rd. It's the 15th year! Oh god, that made me feel old. But yeah, that's about all I have thoughts for the Whitecaps currently.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pivot us to something back in hockey real quick, because I've just seen something. At the 2025 trade deadline, I'm just quoting here, the Maple Leafs, Golden Knights, and Hurricanes discussed a massive 3-team deal. The deal would have seen Mikko Rantanen to the Maple Leafs, Mitch Marner to the Golden Knights, and it just says a haul going back to the Hurricanes. It would have been multiple pieces. Names I've seen mentioned include Ivan Barbashev and William Karlsson. What did we almost see here?
Chaos.
We still saw chaos, too.
Yeah,
more controlled chaos versus what?
So Mikko Rantanen would have just ended up losing in the second round instead of the third.
Yeah, and signing to Dallas on July 1st instead.
Mm-hmm. I forgot he signed with them. Oh my god. That's insane. Brad Treliving, Kelly McCrimmon, and...
the other guy. Eric Tulsky.
God. Eric Tulsky. I was like, what's his name?
I was going to say Don Waddell, but no, he's in Columbus now.
No. Eric Tulsky. What were you guys doing? What are you doing? That's a little too far. That's a little too out there, I'd say.
I also want to mention Don Waddell is responsible for my favorite tweet in NHL history. It was after the Kokoniemi offer sheet, like the day of, somebody some Canes reporter, I forget who, tweeted, "I am not making this up. Don Waddell cannot be reached for comment on the deal right now because he is at the rodeo." Signed the first offer sheet we've seen in nearly a decade. Goes to the rodeo.
And he's at the rodeo.
Refuses to elaborate. Goes to the rodeo.
Final boss of being nonchalant. I'm trying to find what's my favorite hockey tweet. I have a few.
The Anthony Beauvillier tweet is also pretty iconic.
The Anna Kendrick one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's just what it created.
Man.
Canucks legend.
I think my favorite one is from Brock Besser. It just says, I'm grumpy. I'm trying to show it, but it's not showing up. I'm grumpy. There's probably more that I just can't think of right now, but yeah. I don't know. I have like, from Mitch Marner in March 23rd, 2012. Funny how people can change so quick to your friend to a bitch. What was he going through? 2012 Mitch Marner. He's like 14. That's a Phil Kessel one. Yeah. I'm gonna stop looking through my favorites folder for tweets. Can I quickly talk about Money in the Bank?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. So WWE had a premium live event, is what they're called. Pay-per-view, call whatever you want. Is their Money in the Bank contest. Basically how it works, they have two matches, somehow some part during the night that are ladder matches. So lots of ladders everywhere, and they try and use the ladder to get up to a briefcase that holds a contract to guarantee a title match to win one of the big titles in the company. So there's usually a men's one and a women's one. 6 superstars, no disqualifications, bunch of fun stuff. And it opened with the women's Money in the Bank, which I was like going with my heart. It was Rhea Ripley, but I don't know. I don't know why. I just love Rhea Ripley. It was also her first, I think, ladder match. I don't know if it was her first ladder match or first Money in the Bank match, because she's always been champion. But it was fun to see. They also had 3 call-ups from NXT, recent call-ups from NXT, in Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer, who Stephanie Vaquer also wrestled during the Worlds Collide event earlier that day, and she had also wrestled on SmackDown the night previously, so she had 3 matches in under 24 hours. What else? Yeah, Stephanie Vaquer, great job. Naomi won. I'm so happy for her. I cannot wait to see how that storyline plays out. Becky Lynch took away Lyra Valkyria's title. Forgot about Dom and Octagon Jr. Mr. Iguana is my new favorite luchador. I'm pretty sure he counts as a luchador, but yeah, basically, it's this guy who wrestles with a puppet iguana. Yeah, it was with Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide, which is a company that WWE just purchased as well. But yeah, Mr. Iguana, new fan favorite. I'm sorry, Joe Hendry. Money in the Bank, the men's match was okay. Like, the biggest thing was probably Jacob Fatu turning on Solo Sikoa. LA Knight should have won it. I'm so tired of Seth Rollins. And then after a week of thinking R-Truth was done with the WWE, after he's been involved with it pretty much my entire life, it was rumors his contract was running out. He wasn't going to be renewed. But he came back. He came back in a surprise moment. He attacked Cena, who he previously had lost a match to on Backlash a few weeks ago. But yeah, he's back. Logan Paul, you do some good moves, but please just go away. I'm so tired of you. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, they're just my favorite pair. Their press conferences should be a Hall of Fame in of itself. That's pretty much all my thoughts. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Tonight, Jey Uso defends his title on Raw against Gunther, so yay! Let's see if Seth Rollins comes in and cashes it in with his 2 guard dogs that are going to protect him and do nothing else for the story, and Paul Heyman just stares menacing. I have a lot of thoughts about Seth Rollins I need to stop. Because it's not going to make any sense.
Um,
But
Yeah. I'm just gonna add one more little bit of hockey news that's dropped. TJ Oshie has just officially announced his retirement from the NHL at the age of 38.
Shocker!
Not surprising, but official now.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Did he even play last season?
I don't believe he did. Like his back was gone. Was his back or his knees?
I feel like it was his back because there was like that weird no contact injury like a couple years ago, and then he came back and he played his 1,000th NHL game in Vancouver. Actually, I was there. The Canucks lost. Shocker. But actually, that was really funny because it was 2023-24 when we actually won games, but we lost that one because I was there. I haven't seen the Canucks win in almost 2 years in person. That's yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm shocked. I just remember seeing that he had an announcement to make, and yeah, that's it. Congrats, I guess. I don't know, hockey man.
Anything else you want to bring up, or should we wrap it up for the week?
Nah. I think I'm good.
All right.
Sounders suck.
Well put. If you want to check out more of the show or more content from Canucks Chronicles, you can find us on Instagram at Ducks Chronicles. Otherwise, thank you all, especially to Helmet Marco, for listening. Please have a great rest of your week.